are in the truck, and B, my monitors are not working. The picture comes back so we can see where we are. There is the ring as it presently is. And right there you're looking at an earlier fighter in an earlier fight. The Spanish Bull, that's what they used to call him, Alfredo Evangelista. Now that kid's a fighter. That's a kid Jerry Cooney has to look out for. That's a kid I covered when he was an amateur from Louisville, Kentucky. The name, Greg Page. And he weighed in at over 230. I think he's at his best at 220. That's for his trainer to decide. But this kid is quick-handed and quick-footed. Keeps his hands down low in the manner of Ali. When I first saw him as an amateur, I thought he had the potential to be the best since Ali. And I say that in the presence of Jerry Cooney, who's sitting next to me. Look at that flicking left. Evangelista, no match for him. Oh, an occasional right, as you saw there, but that long flicking left. And notice the use of the ring. It was, as I told you in the main event, a 20-foot 6-inch ring. And Jerry Cooney is studying this round as intently as you at home, I hope, may be. Because he knows the day may come when there'll be a showdown between him, Jerry Cooney, and young Greg Page. Greg told me after this bout, he finished Evangelista off in the second round. He said that title must come back to Louisville. And he's not abashed about the fact that he fights in the manner of the once youthful and great Ali. Look at the quickness of those hands, Jerry. The combinations. And don't be misled. He has awesome power. He proved it in the second round when Evangelista was knocked out. But this was first round action, shown to give you a glimpse of what Greg Page is like now. See the movement? When he keeps his hands at his sides, it's because he's a master at slipping punches with his head. The head goes side to side. The head moves back and somehow stays substantially out of range. You see the countdown to round one in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Once I saw this kid, excuse me, 1 minute, Jerry, a point I want to make. I did Greg Page against the second Cuban heavyweight, who's now really the first, on Hell Me On in Houston, Texas, a few years ago. This kid learns because he had me on beat up in the first round and then fell prey to me on style, relaxed, and Mion won the fight. And Page knew it. You were going to say, Jerry.
I was at home watching that fight. I was at home watching the fight when you were there and he was fighting the Cuban heavyweight.
That's right, and he learned a big lesson that day, Jerry.
I seen Greg Page get a fight in Madison Square Garden on the Ali Holmes fight card. And I saw him get hit on the chin by the name of Bigfoot Johnson. And his career was almost stopped right there. He got hit with a right hand and was on Queer Street for the rest of the round. Talented fighter, but he's got no defense at all. No defense. All these guys he's fighting are staying away from him. They're not putting any type of pressure on him.
Okay, maybe you're right. We shall see in time, because someday you're going to have a showdown with him. Hey, Jerry, thanks again.
It's a pleasure.
So that was the first round. Page against Evangelista. Evangelista was done away with in the second round, which we'll show you in just a minute. Again, a Holmes-Cooney altercation earlier. Holmes won in the third round. We'll be right back. Joe Louis Arena, and round two. Evangelista in his corner. Greg Page in his. Page easily won the first round. Interesting comment Cooney made, because Jerry's an honest kid. Thinks Page is lacking severely in defense. Well, in this second round, you'll see Page on offense. I think Jerry underrates Greg's defense greatly, because I think he underrates his quickness. Right there, a good blow to the chin by Evangelista. But I think you'll discover that Page can take a punch. There, that right. He was moving away from Evangelista, and still the right got to him. And Evangelista having trouble getting up. Finally, doing it. Page has great power with either fist. What evidence in that right. Look at him measure. Now it's just a cleaning up. That was it for Evangelista. And so Greg Page with, for him, a big victory. And the young man understandably jubilant. was earlier tonight in the Joe Louis Arena as Greg Page did away with his opponent. It's been a kind of wild night, unexpectedly so. First, there was Michael Dokes, normally not a puncher, who suddenly stood flat-footed and became a puncher. But I'll get to that in a minute. Slow motion of Greg Page here in action against Evangelista. Look at that right. The left to the belly, the left to the head. And the Spanish Bull was no longer. And then in more slow motion, I would think you've seen about enough of this. There went the Bull. Second round knockout by Greg Page. Not a TKO. There was Greg after the fight winking at me because, well, he started as an amateur and I did most of his amateur fights. In the meantime, here in the Joe Louis Arena this evening, it started with Chris Schenkel bringing you Michael